Henri-Cartier Bresson, considered a master of candid photography, started his career with one of his strongest allies, the small 50mm Leica rangefinder camera. It was the perfect tool to capture humanity without unnatural poses, as oftentimes the subject wouldn't be aware of him shooting. Being the innovator that he was, he improved on this anonymity by painting the shiny parts of the camera black. He would venture out into the world looking to trap life with this camera. Not shying away from motion and blur, he actually embraces it, allowing his photos to achieve a certain level of realism and depth so few photographs show. Seen here, a beautiful girl enjoying a nice bike ride on a clear day, with her hair and clothing flapping in the wind, one can almost imagine themselves there enjoying it with her. Another example of his use of motion is this photo of a lone bike rider speeding around the corner in France. It has an air of mystique but also wonder to it. Where are they going? Was it urgent? Coupled with his famous black and white style, photos like this increase the curiosity in the viewer. He never shied away from political issues either. His ethically evaluative photos includes this one, a powerful solemn look at the Prime Minister of India at the time announcing the death of Mahatma Gandhi at the Birla House in New Delhi. A photo of a German man wearing a sign that reads, "Looking for any kind of work," at a time when Germany's economy was just beginning to recover, and an obviously angry man in a prison cell in the US. All politically charged photos showing many sides of human emotion. His talent for judging decisive moments is showcased perfectly here. While attending a football game in the 60s, he captured this shot. Clearly, none of these fans were posing for him, giving us a glimpse of the energy that was resonating in the stadium that day. An overjoyed boy carrying what looks like bottles of wine. A smirk lives on his face, while a little girl in the background shows signs of shock and excitement. Surely if he had known he was being photographed, his face wouldn't show the true emotions he probably felt in that moment. And here we have Jean-Paul, a famous French philosopher, Paris 1946. Expertly timed by Besson to capture the split gaze from this brilliant man, having what looks to be a profound thought in his mind, right before he was overshadowed by a walking bystander seen in the foreground. I chose Henri-Cartier Bresson for this project because after researching some of his most famous photographs, I realized he too was a fan of candid shots. His ability to judge the right time to capture a moment is breathtaking, not to mention his cleverness that allowed himself to blend into the crowd well enough to capture the unadulterated beauty that is humanity, all of its joys and sorrows, anger and sadness, the quizzical looks of intrigue and wonderment. He was able to walk outside, explore, and discover art in the most unlikely places no one thought possible. With his authentic style, including his love for black and white color contrast, it's hard not to mentally transport yourself back in time to experience the emotions present in each photograph.